Oh, ladies and gents, welcome to Six Figs. I'm Kyle, and in today's video, folks, boom, we are going to be talking about everything. We're going to be really kind of centering this on the internet computer and what's going on within that, because there is some crazy stuff that is happening. We're also going to be talking at some industry-wide crypto news that could be impacting you. We'll cover the charts, and at the end, guess what we're going to do, folks? We are going to open it up, and any degenerate crypto coin that you guys want TA done on, I will go ahead and do it. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this Traxx, which is basically a crypto DeFi application now. Basically is, well, I shouldn't say DeFi, but it is an app, a dApp, that is now owned by the community. And what is Traxx? Well, Traxx is basically this platform that allows content creators, especially within the music industry, to upload music, license their music. If users want to pay for that person's music, they can do so, and the artists can get their royalties, things like that. So on the launch pad, we've got Gold DAO. I've got 100 ICP into this thing. So this thing is well over the minimum commitment. And so I'm really bullish about this because it brings a USD pegged stable coin backed by gold to the Web3 industry, which I think is very fascinating because right now everything's just USD pegged, right? And we all know how they are printing fiat, at least the dollar, into oblivion. So it makes really no sense to have things pegged to such a stable currency. I mean, let's face it, if the US dollar goes bankrupt or something bad happens to it, you're going to see it reflect across the crypto space. At least gold has been somewhat of a stable long-term investment. You don't see gold with extremely high volatility. I guess that's my whole point. Internet computer, folks, the dashboard, we're running at 4,470 transactions a second. I always like to just hop on over to Chain Key Ethereum, folks, and it almost looks like within the last couple days, we've seen a huge influx of Chain Key Ethereum under the control of the internet computer. So if you're wondering what Chain Key Ethereum is, folks, well, basically it's a way for the internet computer. It's almost like a bridge or wrapping, but it's a way for the internet computer to actually control Ethereum on its native network. So it's not a bridge or anything like that. Everything is basically trusted by a smart contract, and you eliminate that third party custodianship. So this was interesting, and I trade on MEXC, or I just moved all my trading bags off MEXC. I like MEXC. I'm comfortable. I've been using it for a long time, but there's been some stuff, and if you guys have your assets on MEXC, you might want to consider removing them or getting them off, because every time I see people start making these types of claims where money's missing, exchanges are doing shady stuff, I mean, it's time to go. And the first ones out the door usually are okay. And I can remember when the old Voyager exchange was basically hinting at some issues with their loan to like Three Arrows Capital and stuff like that, I was telling people that they needed to get their stuff off the exchange, and people laughed at me. 2 weeks later, it was underwater. Everything was locked up. But I was able to transfer, like, I don't know, a few hundred ICP off their exchange today, and basically it went through perfectly fine. My ICP ended up in my wallet. I couldn't have been happier. So I'm going to wait this one out, see if these FUD claims are legitimate, and then I might go back to using MEXC. But they say one person lost $92,000 in USDT and has publicly shared frustrations about a restricted account. That's pretty significant. I don't know about you guys, but 92K, that's a lot of money. That's not chump change. So it's not really kind of hard to find. You've been probably seeing it on Twitter. I can't believe they haven't done something really messed up to my account, because the whole month of December, I haven't had a single loss in any of my trades. And I've grown my account 61% even in the last week. I think I'm up, I don't even know how much. A lot. But when it comes down to it, there's someone else. One user has been trading since September, narrated their experience of a frozen account following an $8,000 trade. You know, there could be other things going on here, folks. A lot of people try to like deploy bots and stuff like that on a lot of these exchanges. And if they are violating the exchange's policy and these exchanges catch on to it, that's like a reason why they might block an account or something like that. So I don't necessarily think that, you know, we are hearing the whole story. Possibly we could be hearing, only one side of the story here. And of course, MEXC will not probably comment on an individual's claim publicly, because there would be some privacy breaches there. I found this was very interesting, folks. And I'll tell you guys what, FTX collapse draws claims from Ripple and the NBA star Shaquille O'Neal. I'll tell you a story about Shaquille O'Neal. I like Shaquille O'Neal. Stand-up guy, right? And when I was a kid, my next-door neighbor, his brother was an NBA ref. And so I was able to get Shaq's autograph at a very young age. And Shaq was kind enough to autograph a hat for me. I've always been, in love with him ever since. But NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal, and I thought this other thing was pretty cool that I'm about to tell you. But he's listed as a claimant on this whole FTX deal, linked to a $750,000 endorsement with FTX. So, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a lot of money for a guy like Shaq. You know, $750,000. The dude's probably, made $100 million 5-10 times over. But this is what I thought was interesting, and I want to also kind of look into why Avalanche, associated with the Avalanche blockchain, and I'm assuming Avalanche BVI is probably the British Virgin Islands. I've been to the British Virgin Islands, beautiful. Rented a 60-foot, 70-foot catamaran with like 10, 11 other people. It was crazy. My one buddy had a Coast Guard license, so we basically went sailing all over like the Virgin Islands, wherever we went or wanted to go. It was sick. But that was interesting. So I don't have too high of respect for the Avalanche folks. But when it comes down to it, folks, the FTX collapse, I'm not surprised that it happened. I've been talking about the FTX collapse, folks. I made this video, FTX rug pulled ICP. Back when I first found out that FTX was crooked as hell, and they were impacting not just ICP, but they were washing projects. Refinance, they washed out. Ronin Network, ICP, a bunch more, like a ton more. I published this data. I published all my findings back in April 18th of 2022. So we're almost coming up. We're 4 months away from the 2-year anniversary. And at this time, folks, I was talking about all of this, dude. I couldn't get anybody to pay attention because, let's just face it, Sam had everybody basically in love with him, except for me. We're going to move on to what's going on with the crypto markets right now. There's a lot happening. I'm seeing a lot of crazy stuff. We're seeing some coins pump. One that I almost got into, and I just did an interview with DSO, and I'm very bullish on DSO. I think that it shares a lot of similar qualities that like the internet computer has. But one thing that makes me bullish on DSO is their total supply, their max supply, and the amount circulating. 10.5 million bucks, or 10.5 million tokens, excuse me. Now, I was interested in this 2 weeks ago when the price was at $10. And you know what? I just couldn't. I was in the process of like moving some funds around, and I didn't think that it would shoot up the way it did. I mean, within the last 2 weeks, this thing has roared upwards. And I thought at $20, it might pull back a little bit, but this thing definitely did not. Another project that is very high risk that I have been kind of looking at is Sync. I don't know if they're even on here, but I'll show them on the charts. It's a very volatile, high risk that I probably won't even mention too much about. But you know, we're seeing ICP. You know, this thing's still trading at $9.46. We're still at above a $4 billion market cap. So that is awesome. I'm super happy about that. And let's just go ahead here and we'll just check out some TA on ICP. So with that said, let's just scoot on over to the daily charts and we'll get rid of all this garbage and we will check some things out. So, I mean, ICP on the daily is looking very decent. RSI is a hair overbought, but at this point, it could still pump again. Keep in mind, we had the highest RSI on record for ICP back on Sunday, the 17th. So that was crazy. This has been the highest RSI on the daily in the thing's existence. So people want to buy ICP, and it just is what it is. So right now, I'm just kind of thinking that right now we'll see this 50 moving average kind of drift up like this. And I think we should see ICP maybe do one of these things and then move up. But let's just kind of look at this thing on like a 4-hour chart. You know, we've been trading sideways. Technically, there is, and I did point this out in the last live stream, so you guys need to be subscribed with the notifications to get these types of alerts. But I do think that there could be a possibility, and this is I say a possibility, folks, because nothing is guaranteed, right? Bear with me. I'm parched from doing all this talking because I was just on Crypto Airborne's channel before I came live here. So with that said, you know, it is what it is. I think that there is this chance we could see ICP maybe return and test this $10.87 level. One thing to note here is that we have the highs, folks. They're planted right here at about 11 bucks. That is like the sell wall for the last 3 attempts at this level. So with that said, we're also seeing something very nice happening. And I'll show you guys this in a second. So we got the sell wall at 11 bucks, right? Nothing we can do about it. Unless you got some big time dollars to start throwing in to pump that price, we are going to see either that inverse head and shoulders play out, possibly, or we could be seeing this little ascending triangle forming here over the long term. Now, I want to just do something here really quick, and I want to throw up, gosh dang, I want to throw up a Fibonacci channel here just to kind of see where things are at. I'm just not sure where I want to throw this thing up. So I think what we're going to do is throw this Fibonacci channel up right here. So bear with me. We're going to clear the charts and away we go. So with that said, here it is. Now, if we do end up with that very nice, inverse head and shoulders or something like that, I would say that it would be right around this 786 level, possibly sometime within the next few days. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but I really do think that we are going to be shooting for this did I almost say $28? Holy cow. Holy cow. It's been one of those days for me. But I'm hoping that what we would see is for price to basically rip up like so, maybe into this 161.8 level to this $11-ish level. And I'm hoping, folks, I hope this plays out. But if this plays out and we've got a strong foothold at the 61.8, which is, one of those golden ratios, we could be seeing another ascending triangle form, folks. So I do think that, there is this possibility to form something like this. And I'd like to see this happen within the next few days. So let's go ahead here and start polluting the chat with all of the other degenerate coins and tokens that you guys are holding, and we will go over those towards the end of the stream. But I just thought that we could look at Origin Foundation here because I am bullish on Origin. I like Origin. I like the fact, folks, that Gold DAO is partnered up with Origin. So with that said, this is a solid project in my opinion. You can see it's powered by Origin. So with that said, I do like Origin. Paris Hilton's involved with Origin. It just seems like there is a lot of strong support coming out of the Origin protocol. So the last time I was talking about Origin, basically I was highlighting the fact that there was this inverse head and shoulders, and look what happened. The Origin token took off, just right as predicted. There was some other things going on here though, because we can see that all these lines here I was throwing up were basically we were looking at a Wyckoff pattern. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people have been accumulating at these low levels for a long time. So when this thing 2 or 3x, they just took profit. There's just nothing you can do about it. Really. On the weekly, folks, we're getting some spinning tops. I'm going to go ahead and clear this. But on the weekly, we are getting some spinning tops. And I mean, you could also make the argument that there is still a massive inverse head and shoulders on the charts. So Mr. New Creation, I almost ended my OGY accumulations at 100,000 OGY. Okay, so you are an OG for sure. All right. Brandon Porky says, I do have 40% of my portfolio in ICP. Okay. Jaws saying near protocol. Okay. We got Yo Mammy wanting some CKB TA. Pollute the chat, folks. Pollute the chat with coins that you want me to check out. So right now, Origin, folks, this thing's never been above the Ichimoku cloud. Not a big deal because it just launched last June, somewhere in there. And this has been the bear market. So it launched in the absolute worst time. You guys got to keep that in mind. Davey Santos says, I have 30% on ICP. Okay. Yeah, that's some big money. But let's just check out Origin here on the 4-hour chart. I mean, there's really not much to really decipher from this chart analysis here. I mean, on the 4-hour chart, it's a tough read, very tough read. I'm just trying to look here. You know, to be honest with you, I do still think that there could be a potential pump here soon, but this RSI is still mid-ranging. So it is what it is. I like Origin. I think that these levels are a decent deal. Really, when it comes down to it, right off the floor, I mean, this thing is only up 540% since all-time lows. That's insane. But this thing's trading at a penny, so I've got a little bag of Origin, not much. Let's move on to Bitcoin here now that we got the room filled up with people. And let's just see here. Where is Bitcoin? So here's Bitcoin right now. And in the last technical analysis I did on this thing, folks, I was talking about how Bitcoin was probably going to just chill right in this little squeeze zone here. And we are seeing Bitcoin in a very shallow, 2 or 3 week ascending triangle. So this, to me, is bullish that we are seeing this. So I'm hoping that we see Bitcoin kind of lift off here. And I'm hoping we see Bitcoin maybe kind of run up to about this $48,000-$50,000 ish level. Let's just go ahead here and look at Bitcoin on a bigger picture. And I really want to just go ahead and look at this on the daily chart. Right now, you could make the argument that there is a falling wedge on the daily charts. So to me, this is a bullish pattern here. Since we've got a resistance point here, it looks like it's looking to get bullish again. So this is good on the daily charts. Bitcoin's looking to possibly squeeze to the upside as far as the strength goes, which would make sense because this is an ascending triangle and these are typically bullish. On the weekly, I mean, this is where I get a little bit of anxiety looking at the Bitcoin charts because, the RSI is still at 84. I mean, you can see, like, during the 2021 pump, the RSI on Bitcoin went absolutely nuts. So, I mean, this thing ran up to 97, 98 points. And then it also created new all-time highs with lower relative strength. So this is very interesting to me. We're in some funny money kind of environment right now. So with that said, I'm bullish on Bitcoin now for the short term. And I did a little technical analysis in a previous live stream on the Bitcoin market cap dominance. And I told everyone that there was this head and shoulders pattern and that we were going to see Bitcoin dominance start to go down. So within the last 3 days, that's exactly what happened. And I would guess this would run down to about 51% or lower in time because there is a nasty corrective wave. So I'm thinking like sometime by the early January or something like that. But CKB, we had this one lined up on the charts, and this one's really starting to break out of a bull pennant. And I've been talking about this regularly on my live streams the last few weeks and telling people that this thing's getting ready to rip. So it looks like this thing is kind of starting to launch a little bit right now. We'll have to kind of wait and see. I would like to see the price action come and test this 50 moving average and then make another run. So CKB looking good. I'm making some videos right now. I have all the parts to make the nodes, but we are going to be doing some node making videos on CKB. I like the project. I like the team. It's kind of a grassroots thing, but You know, I've literally flown around the world to meet with these people, literally. So I like the founders. I love the employees, everything within CKB. But I do think that this thing, you know, it hasn't really left the triangle too much. So we are just gonna kind of chill on that. Somebody was talking. Okay, you guys did go ahead here and drop some gems here into the chat. So we've got Near. We'll check Near. I think we did this one the last time too. So let's just take Near. I think I was bullish on this one. Yeah, I think I was pretty bullish on Near the last time. This thing is pumping. Looks like to the heavens. To me, there is some Elliott wave theory going on here, quite possibly. And it almost looks like we might be seeing a complete impulse. If this is Elliott wave theory, the only thing is that with Near, you know, and this price structure right now, wave 2 to 3 cannot be the smallest. So by default, 0 to 1 or 4 to 5 has to be the smallest. So we're just going to kind of measure this up. This is the easiest way, the way I like to do it. And you can clearly see that span 2 to 3 here in this case is longer than 0 to 1. So I do think that this is some textbook Elliott wave theory stuff. And what happens when you hit the fifth point? Well, we're going to see one of two things happen. We're going to see an A, B, C corrective wave, or if things get nasty, we're going to see a D, E corrective wave hit this thing. Whenever you're dealing with Elliott wave theory and you are dealing with corrective waves, the one thing that I've learned throughout my trading career is that you've got to be very careful with the corrective waves. And you really have to monitor these things for nasty head and shoulders that develop. So with that said, I do think that Near, obviously on the 4-hour chart, you know, this thing's printing 82 points on the RSI. To me, it's overbought. But I do think that this thing could possibly run out of gas a little bit and maybe correct a little bit. But what a run from $2.15 to like $4.15, somewhere in there. So that's great to see. And I don't think Near is anywhere near done printing for this bull cycle. I just don't think. One thing I do want to do with Near, though, is I want to throw up a little bit of... I want to throw up some Gone fans here on Near, because I'm kind of curious to see what this thing is hitting as far as, you know, Gone fans are concerned. Now, I talk about this in a lot of my casts here, is that the market moves in 45-degree angles. Wouldn't surprise me if this thing's getting hit by a 45-degree angle right here. So let's get the 45 out. Okay, you guys can kind of see what I'm saying. You know, market's definitely moved at a 45-degree angle here, and then it ripped. So price action is getting some rest on that 45-degree, and I want to throw up another 45-degree angle here. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Bear with me, folks. We're going to throw this thing up. So right about here is where we're going to draw our other 45-degree angle downwards, because this thing has mooned, folks. I love to see people's projects mooning. So with that said, let's throw up the Gone fan top down, see what is going on with this thing. Okay, we've done that. Now we'll get the one from the bottom up, and let's see what's going on with Near. Okay, now we're going to scrunch this thing down to a 4-hour chart. So whenever I throw up these Gone fans, folks, I always like to look, I always like to look at a super high level. I'm trying to find the original 45 I drew. Here it is. Okay, so what I like to do is always look in hindsight, because it's very important that we know these GON fans have proper placement. So you can see how price resisted here, supported here. You can see how this GON fan absolutely stopped price action and drove it down. And then it took off. So you guys can kind of see how these GON fans work. A lot of traders get frustrated with GON fans, and they just, revert to, basic stuff like Fibonacci. But right now, near is up in this 1 to 2 trend line. So this is good news. I would like to see near within the next 25 minutes print another candle above this. And I do think that you might be getting ready to see near maybe do one of two things here. And I don't think that this thing's done running. So we got Romulus up at 5. I'm assuming that's waking up at 5 to catch the real 6 fig. Well, thank you for tuning in. Just wondering, whereabouts in the world are you? Let me know in the comments. But right now, I do think that, a few things are going to happen with near. Like I said, we're going to see possibly that little retracement that I was talking about. I'm hoping that that retracement stays above like this $3.80 level. So Eastern Europe. So thanks for tuning in from Eastern Europe. Or I'm hoping what we get is a like a sliver play. And I call them the Fibonacci sliver by default, but in this case, I'm going to call it the GON fan line by default. And basically, I'm hoping, I would love to see near pull off an ascending triangle and really start to move up to challenge this downward 1-to-1 around this $4.50 level. So I'm hoping that we stay above this like $3, 80-cent-ish level for the time being. We got Crypto Airborne and Bitcoin Renegade in the chat. So Crypto Airborne goes by the real name of Rash Wallace. But we'll look at a couple more. Let's see. RBC. I never heard of that one. RBC against the US dollar. EGLD. Okay, EGLD. We'll look at EGLD. EGLD's another solid project. Everybody should look at it. I know nothing about RBC, so forgive me. I don't know what the tokenomics look like. I don't know what they've got going on within the ecosystem, things like that. But it kind of looks like a Definity chart, not going to lie. And this thing probably launched during the wrong time in the middle of a bear market, so it possibly got clobbered down there. I guess I don't know. But yeah, this thing's just been sideways trading. Had something happen here where there's a huge spike up. But yeah, this thing's moving through the Ichimoku cloud. Technically, this is a really sketchy bull flag pull. Really sketchy, and the flag is super low. It's like at half mast, so I don't know. I just don't know enough about this coin to do like some legitimate TA on it. I am sorry. So let's check out EGLD next. Let's just check this out. Okay, so I don't remember the last time I did technical analysis on EGLD, but it was probably on on Crypto Airborne's channel a couple weeks ago. And a couple weeks ago, this was my prediction. And that was, we had seen Elliott wave theory, and that we would see price action kind of do one of these things. Good to see that EGLD is still really trading nicely within this predicted pattern that I drew out whenever that was. I don't remember. But I am hoping that this thing pumps. And I mean, look at this. If this thing can break through, man, I might have to pick up a little bit more EGLD. I think I have like 20. But I think this thing could, if this thing follows suit here, I think that there is a chance that this thing's going to break past 75 And I do think that EGLD could possibly range up to this high $90 area. I do believe, and somebody in the chat would know, maybe Crypto Airborne, I believe there's only like 25 million or 21 million EGLD coins in circulation. So this is one of those coins where it's kind of spendy, but the limited amount of circulating supply really can cause this token to hit some pretty high price tags. I mean, we saw during 2021 bull market, this thing on Binance wicked 546 bucks. So think about that, guys. I mean, I like EGLD. There's a lot of good stuff going for it. Seems like a strong project, and they have been really, building and standing the test of time. I don't follow it too closely, but I know a lot of people are bullish on it. Somebody said Algo. So let's look at Algo. We did TA on this one the other day. Okay, so we were kind of predicting that the other day that we would see this thing kind of come up here. But, I don't know. I think that this thing might still need a little bit of retracing. Just with technically what you are seeing here is a very, very nice bull pennant. And this could go anyway. This could really go anywhere. This is a classic bull pennant, bull flag that you're seeing. Typically a very bullish sign that you want to see. But when we look at like the daily chart, the reason I think that this thing could be gearing up for a little bit of a retracement, number one, RSI is kind of way up there. Might need to cool off after making such a big run. We got complete Elliott wave theory to the upside. That's been established. So I'm thinking that we could be seeing something. Maybe it's not going to come back down to 19 cents, but we might be seeing something where it brings the price closer to this 50 moving average and the shoulder of this cloud. That's my thoughts on it right now. We're in kind of like that same thing. Somebody says Atlas. Okay, we'll look at Atlas here. Okay, Atlas. What a run. Wow. This thing has been rampaging from 0.00133-ish, and this thing is chomping at the bit to get a penny. Right now with Atlas, let's just look at this thing on the weekly. Exactly what I like to see. Exactly what I like to see on these types of charts. This thing launched when? According to the Kraken exchange, it was either listed to the Kraken exchange or it launched on January 2022. Again, it's a bear market launch coin. So you're going to see a lot of rec charts with those bear market. RSI is printing at 78. You could still move to the upside. But the one thing that makes me bullish about this is that price action is above the weekly on the Ichimoku cloud. And really, I want to see price action maintain above this 0.00389-ish level. I do think that there's possibly going to be some sort of retracement, maybe going into like February here as price action gets closer to this cloud, because right now this thing has shot up so fast that it just, in my opinion, it's too far away from the cloud. But it doesn't really matter because this thing is, on the weekly, god dang it. This is a tough one. Let's look at the daily here. We had a nice, massive run to the upside. I'm sure there is some sort of Elliott wave theory in here, but this is a classic, very classic bull flag pull with a bull flag pennant. And you know what? Maybe I could be wrong on this weekly chart. Maybe this thing will come back up and retest this 0.008-ish level on the daily. I mean, if you look up the definition of a bull flag, you will see something very much like this. So with that said, you know, it just is what it is. So right now, Atlas, you know, it's just in this bull flag. Will we see this thing break out? Possibly. I hope so. This is just, it's in a consolidation pattern right now. So we just have to play the waiting game on if this thing's going to break up or down. Iotex. We'll look at Iotex, and then we might look at a couple more. We got 19 people in here, so stream's kind of falling off. Not really seeing anything on Iotex. Hope I'm spelling that right. Maybe you meant lotion for Crypto Airborne's rash. You know, Bitcoin Renegade is saying that in Seattle we have CKB and Bitcoin license plate. That's pretty cool. I'd own 2 cars, so I could have 2 of those license plates. Iotex, okay. Iotex, okay. So we will jump back into TA quick. I was going to bid my farewell. But, okay, Iotex. Let's just check this thing. It's trading at 5 cents. Did extremely well the last bull market. Ripped up to 26 cents on Binance. And if you look at this, you know, from that bottom, damn. Oh, this thing ripped up 21,000%. How cool. How cool. So I'm hoping to see from these levels, I would love to see this project, and I know nothing about it. But even if this thing rips up to all-time highs again, you could see a 420% gain or more. So with that said, let's just kind of look at this on the daily chart. You know, this thing's been on a ripper. It has been on a ripper. And I do think that this is some clear Elliott wave theory to the upside as well. You know, we can kind of see this. Yeah, I don't know. This might be a nullified Elliott wave theory because 0.4 technically comes crashing down. Lower than 0.1. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. But it could be some sort of Elliott wave theory, to say the least. Again, just like that last project that we looked at, this is really cool, and I love to see this. Whenever we get Elliott wave theory, it's very common to see Elliott wave theory form within Elliott wave theory. But for now, I do think that there might be some sort of ABC corrective wave that is taking place here. I'm hoping that it's only an ABC corrective wave. Okay, so to me, I think that this thing's probably going to get a bounce off the shoulder of this Ichimoku cloud. You know, let's just do a little Fibonacci on this. Let's see what's up with this. Okay. So we might see this thing maybe come down to the 0.04665-ish region. It might bottom out around the 0.05-ish level. But right now, I do believe that we are going to see an ABC corrective wave to hit this 50 moving average possibly. So that's my thoughts with this, and then we'll have to kind of see where it's going. But guys, if you like this type of TA, hit the notification bell. Every time I go live, it will let you know when I'm live. And if you want me to check in on your project and where the price action is at, things like that, I'd be certainly happy to do so if you guys just drop the tickers in the comment section. So we're 45 minutes long. The stream's kind of right now. So I think we're just going to go ahead here and end it. But thank you all for stopping by, and we will see you on the next video. Peace.